Hello and welcome back to another Blackies commentary. Um, this is going to be a really quick one. I'm just finishing up the game. Civ 5, Brave New World being announced. I'm on Deity mode and it's taken me literally probably 10 months of playing on Deity mode for me to get my first victory. So I thought I'd just record to celebrate. It's processing the opponent's turns right now. And after that I'll finish my SS engine and fly away. The only question remains, do I nuke everybody before I go? Or do I just fly away? They just switched to order. Everybody was order this game because, well, Brazil went order first. They had really high tourism at that point. So I went freedom originally, but I had to switch to order because I didn't want the entire world to declare war on me for being different. There were two autocracy. These people held out a long time as autocracy, but they just changed this turn. And Greece was autocracy until a little while ago. Okay, well I might as well fire some nukes just because I guess why not? Who do I want to nuke? You're lucky that I can't reach you in Venice. So I guess I'll nuke Paris. And I'll nuke Sparta. Corinth. I can go right next to Athens, that's good enough. I have fast animation so we don't actually get to see the nukes land. That's okay. So let's see my units. Do I have any more? I think I should have at least one more nuclear missile. Yeah, just one more. I'll fire this onto their capital if it's in range. Oh, this is their... Where's their capital? I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Ulundi. They have a lot of units nearby, wow. They had a lot of units is what I meant to say. Had a lot of units. Okay, well, now that they're all taken care of, I'll fly away. There we go. Okay, so we can really quick look at the demographics. This doesn't tell us very much here, unfortunately. They were uniformly the worst because when I declared war on them, I took out all of their cities except for one. Nobody else in the game was eliminated. Brazil was pretty close, but not quite. And I was the best. I had a runaway victory by the end, so that's why I was able to hit the best of everything. I was able to take a lot of the Zulus and the Celts as land, and everybody else didn't take a lot of space initially, so they were, I don't know, I think they were going for some kind of, most of them were going for some kind of tourism victory, culture victory, but they weren't really reaching it. I have an Augustus Caesar ranking, which is good because it was on Deity, and I didn't lose. And I guess we can watch the replay. Let's look at the map. So this is me right here, and of course on Deity everybody starts with 2 cities versus the player's 1. I'm buying tiles. So about this time I realized that there was a wonder down here that helped me get a religion. So I planted my city and I bought 2 tiles so I can grab the wonder right here. In this game actually, one thing that was interesting is, I'll pause a second, I was always grabbing lots of space with all my cities because there was a nice mix of unique luxury resources around and also strategic resources, because Poland gets a better, gets an advantage from stables because of their ducal pastures, ducal something. Yeah, ducal stables. Anyway, because of that, they have a nice advantage. So I wanted to make sure I grabbed horses or sheep or cows, anything that gave me stables. But I also, like, this city right here was just amazing. It had an incense, it had fish, it had silver, had 3 silvers, I think, 1 on top of it and 2 nearby. It had quite a bit of food from cows. It had cows, sheep, and horses, I think. Maybe it was just cows and sheep. Or maybe it was just cows and horses, I mean. I guess I didn't play again. I planted this city down here. It was actually a really weird spot, but it had, I mean, because it was quite a ways away from the rest of my cities. At this point, this is really spread out for a DD game. And, you know, the Celts should have been quite angry with this kind of setup because I was really invading their space. The planting here was really good because it had 2 fish and 2 pearls, and the rest was all jungle, so it had lots and lots of food and lots of jungle for science. And then later on I'm going to plant a city right here, which is an even weirder spot because it's on a river, and there were 2 tiles that were on the river that weren't jungled, but the rest was jungle. That was just a really, really heavy jungle space. That city never actually took off very well, but it put out a lot of science because it had so much jungle nearby. So this is about the time that I ran out of places to expand to. So I had this core of 6 cities, and I was really kind of tight quarters with the Celts. So this is where I pushed my technology for about, I don't know, 30 turns or so. And at this time I was allied with Byzantine and with Venice, and we were making research agreements every 30 turns, and I was getting all of my money from trading with them because I had a few extra luxuries, and I had a lot of extra iron because I never used iron at all this game because I never went into the ocean, and I never built any swordsmen or anything like that, and it had been peaceful to this point. But this is about the time that I started to get my flying hussars because I'm Poland. So then I was starting to pump up lots and lots of these units, and I went to war with them for a while, and we kind of fought back and forth, not making any progress at all. I was kind of hoping to take some land with hussars, but I wasn't able to. So I kind of pushed my technology down to artillery. Then I was able to attack without receiving attacks for a while. And that worked long enough for me to get 1 city. And then we had this problem where I was getting attacked from 2 different sides, and they started to get aircraft eventually without me having anti-aircraft. Oh, actually, I'm off a little bit in time, but finally I pushed through, and after I took this 2nd city, it was actually kind of easy to clean up for a while. The next few cities fell quite quickly. And this is kind of where I got stuck, because right at this moment, there was a simultaneous declaration of war by the Zulu. The Zulu had just taken down Brazil, and now they had declared war on me. And at the same time, France, which is also a pretty powerful player at this point, was declaring war on me. I should say, going back, the Celts were the most powerful player before I took them. They had lots and lots of wonders. They had more wonders than anybody else. They had more tourism than anybody else, and culture than anybody else. And I would have liked to just completely wipe them off the map, because all of that culture and tourism takes a while to undo, and they kind of put a lot of pressure on you from their ideology. But because I got declared war on by the Zulu and by France, there was no chance for me to do that. France wasn't a problem because it's hard to see here, but this is the city that I had that was kind of surrounded by water on the left and right. France didn't have any good water units, and they kept funneling down this single tile corridor. There was actually 2 corridors, but they were both mountainous units, so I just kept killing them as they came. It was just like a meat grinder, basically. But the Zulu were quite difficult. They had a lot of flight, and I only had, at this point, I think I had 3 oil on my land, and I had been trading France up until then to get more oil. So once that ended, I guess I think I had 6 oil. I had 3 in my original 6 cities, and I picked up 3 more oil somewhere over here. But once, I still relied on more than that oil from France. So once they declared war on me, I lost that, and I had a 2 oil deficit while I went forward. It was kind of hard for my Air Force to compete. So there was a long time where I was just constantly killing off the Zulu's units, killing them off, killing them off, killing them off. And that really stopped. I finally got past that once I got some SAM missile launchers, because then I could finally kill lots of their planes each turn, and they lost their Air Force eventually. The computer's kind of dumb with how they use their Air Force, thankfully. If they were smarter, I might have lost, I guess, to the Zulu. They had a really big army. But I'll hit play. Now I'm going to quickly take city after city here. Meanwhile, I actually launched a nuke onto Paris, and a 2nd nuke onto Lyon. Oops, that's the end. And after I made them both make peace with me, I was able to push forward to a science victory. Alexander got kind of close to getting a win with the votes, but it wasn't close enough. I could have paid somebody to vote against him still. Or I could have just nuked some of the city-states so that he'd have less votes. So this is the score. The score doesn't mean very much, unfortunately. Culture per turn. So I was very low throughout all this. At the end, I had a runaway victory in all respects, and it went extra high because of the Golden Age, but my culture wasn't great. Happiness, I'd usually sit around 0. I don't go up very high usually. Computer always has excess happiness. Food per turn was decent for me because I tended to make I made a relatively tall empire this game. And gold per turn went very high for me at the end because I threw up some golden ages. I don't know if improved tiles tells us much. I want to know, let's see, number of cities. I mean, the whole game I'm behind a number of cities until the very end. Number of known techs, you know, you always start behind, but you're supposed to kind of jump up a little bit faster than I did. But anyway, I progressed quickly after a ways. There was no single moment where my science really took off. Like a pro player, I mean, a better player than I tends to have it shoot up at some point. This is my science constantly ramping up the whole game. There was no key moment. Unhappiness is kind of the same as happiness. Not really, I guess. This is more like how many cities you have than anything else. There should be... That's a dumb way to display that information. Military might. Yeah, so this is the Zulus. When they when the Zulu declared war on me, they were right here, and then they quickly fell back down. And I was rising the whole time as I bought more and more units. And about here, that must have been where we made peace, because then he comes back up to my height, and he goes to war with. I don't know. Was it Brazil or was it Venice? I'm not sure. Number of cities. Yeah, Zulu had that nice ride up to the top, and then they kind of threw it away because they didn't do any science with those cities. Okay, I guess that's about it for graphs. Okay, so I just wanted to put this up and celebrate.